What's up, everyone? KL here, and this is episode number 10 of the MDRN Future Podcast. Today, I'm talking about quite a few things. I've been gone for about a little over 4 weeks since the last episode. I have been writing a couple blogs over on the site, but wanted to stop by with a new podcast and just talk about some things, talk about a couple things, get you guys thinking about some of the stuff I've been following here lately. So a couple things in this one that I wanted to talk about. Not too long ago, I did a top 10. It's basically at the middle of November. I did a top 10 most desirable electric vehicles of 2020 and beyond. Just all my personal likes that have either come out already, there's a couple of them, or are on the horizon. So we're going to break down some of those, talk through that list. And then just talk about a couple of electric companies. Ford Mustang Mach-E is right around the corner. Volkswagen, the ID.4, also right around the corner. I'm going to talk about some Tesla stuff. They had quite a bit come out since last time I came on episode 9 with my brother. And then I'm just going to talk about some of the upcoming stuff I'm going to have on the channel here very, very, very soon. So stay on the lookout for that. So let's hop right into the first topic, which is this top 10 most desirable. So we'll go ahead and flip on over to the actual post. And I wrote this on November 15th. And that picture that you see right up there is the Evoltus from Subaru. But we'll just get right down into the list. Number 1, Tesla Cybertruck. I have one on order, reserve. I was one of the, I don't want to say one of the first ones, but like I did it basically day one within 24 hours. I went ahead and put the $100 down on reserve. I'm really looking forward to this. I know this one is super polarizing for a lot of folks, but I'm in the market for a big, hefty pickup truck, and I don't want to go with the traditional route. I want to be a contrarian. I love the design. I'm all things Tesla, and other than Rivian, I'm really not too interested in a whole lot of traditional legacy auto. I am keeping my eye on the Ford, which is on this list, the Ford F-150 EV, though I'm not exactly sure when that date is, but I am looking at that. Number 2, which you can't see, is the Tesla Roadster. Now, if I was a single man without a family, I would totally 100% be all in on the Tesla Roadster. I think the biggest drawback right now is you just don't know when it's coming out, but for a $200,000 supercar that just like is supposed to shatter every single diesel record, the diesel gas powered supercar out there, just like blow it away, the 1.8, 1.9, 0 to 60, just like the mileage on it is supposed to be 621 miles. The top speed, I want to say, is 212. Like, this thing is a beast, an absolute beast. It looks great. And Elon, I want to say earlier in this week, I don't know if it was Wednesday or Tuesday, said that they were going to have additional colors that aren't available on any other Tesla out there. I still feel like one day, if my wife does not kill me, we both can agree on it, I'll probably like get rid of my Model 3 or give it to my daughter. Hopefully she's old enough to like maybe think about that as a hand-me-down, and I'm gonna get a Roadster. It sounds just so lovely to me. We'll see what fate has in my cards on being able to buy that. Number 3 is the Porsche Taycan. Now, if I can't get a Tesla Roadster, then this is a pretty good number 3 option. It's grown on me over time. It's definitely less than, it's about half at the low end of a Roadster, but at the high end, it's right damn near it. You see 185,000 on the one that all the way up there, 103 on the low end. But I think it absolutely looks gorgeous. It's a great looking supercar, sports sedan, electric vehicle, if you will. It's not quite a supercar, but it does have some awesome specs, and I think it calls out to me. I just love the look, and I've always loved the look of most Porsche vehicles, but this one is one that I had to put on the list just because the more I've seen it in action, the more I have grown to like it. Number 4 is a Rivian. Again, I'm in the market for a big pickup truck. I love what Rivian is doing as an all-electric startup, and it seems like they're on pace to have the very first electric truck come to market. It'll be very interesting to see how their sales are following their release. I want to say June, summerish. Maybe they'll come out with some earlier. But the way Tesla is kind of pushing the envelope, we may see a release where they might be second to market. I don't know, but they have the van with Amazon putting down, I want to say 100,000 orders or something like that on their electric van. They got the truck. They have an SUV that's supposed to be coming afterwards, and my wife absolutely loves the SUV, so we'll talk about that here momentarily. But I love this thing. It looks pretty good. Again, more of a traditional style pickup, minus the light bar across the top and the Wally eyes for the actual headlights. But it looks fantastic. Has pretty good range. Just it's kind of expensive compared to a Cybertruck, right? You can get like a mid-tier Cybertruck, which is the one I have on reserve, the dual motor, and it costs about $20,000 less than the entry for the Rivian, and it's going to have better specs. So that's the drawback. If you're looking at the just pure specs, it's hard to beat a Cybertruck right now. So that's what is the big hang up for me, but we're going to look at this pretty tough. Number 5, Cadillac Lyriq. Now, I have not been totally impressed by what GM has offered so far. But when I saw the Cadillac Lyriq in September or late August, I can't remember when I initially saw it, I was blown away. The thing looks gorgeous for it, like a crossover SUV. It's, I would rate it just based on looks alone better than, say, the Model Y. But I know from a spec perspective, it's probably not even going to come close. We'll see. But, I showed this to my wife. She liked it, thought it looked luxurious. So I'm right there with her. It looks absolutely fantastic. Number 6, Model Y. Again, not totally in love with the look of the Model Y because I have a Model 3. So, I just, from the space that they add, from the height, it looks good. But like the length of it is where it gets me. And again, I'm in the market for a larger vehicle because my family size has just outgrown this kind of compact SUV, crossover SUV. And we have a Subaru Ascent as our second vehicle. So not completely off of gas power cars, ICE cars, but we're definitely looking really hard. And, we would totally get an EV SUV if they were a little bit bigger. Every single one that's come out so far has just not been the size that my wife and I are looking for. So, again, love Tesla's stuff. The Model Y, from which we'll get into this in a little bit, but from a quality standpoint, I wrote an article, almost one of the first ones that I wrote on my blog, Modern Future blog, was about quality issues with Tesla. And Model Y is no exception. They've had an absolute ton of quality issues, from panel gaps to water running off in different spots in like the trunk. I've seen just a ton of videos on it. It seems like they're starting to improve now that we are 6 months or so past when they initially started rolling out. But that would be a big drawback if I got one and I had to take it in a couple times to get it fixed up. Not a huge deal breaker, but certainly something to keep your eye on there. Number 7, Lucid Air. Talked about this one a couple times on the podcast. Lucid is like doing fantastic things for their company. Peter Rawlinson is ex-Tesla, built this amazing, helped build this amazing a drivetrain, which I think is the most impressive thing that I saw from Lucid, which, based on modern batteries that we're using right now, the efficiencies that they've put into the drivetrain have made it so that when this thing comes out, it's going to be one of the most efficient electric vehicles without having the cells in there to pump it up even further. So I think once they get the battery technology, plus if they continue to make the drivetrain a lot better, man, this thing is going to be absolutely bonkers. Like the long tail of this. It's just a matter of like whether or not this company can make it. Can they survive? I think they can. I think they have what it takes. Like all the specs that they have that they're coming out with are the ones that that most traditional companies, I've said this before, automakers should be aiming for, is what you're seeing with Lucid. This is what you want to see from an EV company to really challenge Tesla, really push the envelope, really try to make a splash in the scene. Everyone else is just playing catch up to like 2012 Tesla, and Lucid Air is really pushing that envelope to to release cars of the future when it comes to this. So again, I can't talk up Lucid enough. I'm super excited about this. Like, this is my Model S. Like, I wouldn't buy a Model S. I'd buy a Lucid Air. Based off of what I've seen so far, it looks better from the interior. Cost is a little bit more expensive, but it just looks better. It has currently better specs, though we'll see what real world plays out. But I think it just has a better high-end luxury sedan feel for an electric vehicle than the Model S. But we'll see how things play out. Number 8, Subaru Evoltus. Now, I don't necessarily know if this is the final look. This is the concept. I was drawn to this because it gives off Cybertruck vibes. You get that cyberpunk kind of vibe going with it. The last 2 vehicles that I've owned have been Subaru, so this is just right there up in the top 10 because I've just had an attachment to Subaru. Again, I have an Ascent. We had a Legacy before that. Basically, my wife's brother, and he's worked for Subaru for a while. So everyone on her side of the family, mom, not dad, he has a pickup truck, but her mom, brother, they all have Subarus. So it's just been one of those vehicles that I've grown to love the longer I've been with my wife, and again, I've had a great experience with it. As you can see, number 9 already is the Rivian R1S. This is the SUV. I want to say this comes out in 2022, but this is the first big body SUV that I've seen that really has my eye, has my wife's eye. That's why it made the list. It checks all the boxes for what we need for a family of 5. It's big, it's electric, it looks good, the interior looks good, everything about this looks sweet, and it would definitely fill a niche that my family needs right now, and I'm very excited for this one when it actually comes out. Number 10 is a Ford F-150 EV. Again, I don't know how big this one is going to be. It's a Ford. Ford's the number 1 truck manufacturer US in the world, really. So, I mean, I have high expectations for an electric vehicle that they put out. I think it'll be pretty good. I don't think it'll be better than the Cybertruck. I might be on par with the Rivian, maybe. I'm concerned about the price. I'm concerned about the specs. And I'm concerned about the look. But it's on here because they have a history of delivering awesome looking trucks, and I'm excited for it. So that's what I wanted to cover at the top of the show. Now we're just going straight back to me. We're just going to cover some topics that come up. So Ford Mustang Mach-E is right around the corner. I can't remember if I talked about it at length on the podcast, but not too long ago, Ford CEO made some comments about Tesla with regards to basically, they're not Ford. They don't have a Mustang. They're not cool. Mustangs are cool. Tesla's not cool. More or less. But the Mach-E is coming out. The specs look very good. My wife likes it. She likes the look of it. She likes it much more than a Model Y, not a Model 3, Model Y. It apparently will have some comparable specs to like a Model 3 or a Model Y on the high end, with 300 miles range. 0 to 60, I think, is a little bit slower than both of them, but overall, I think it's gonna have the big touchscreen. I think we would have some engine sounds, make it feel kind of Mustang-y. And one of the pluses for the Mustang Mach-E is it's also going to be eligible for the federal tax credit. So after you purchase it, you can knock off $7,500 because they've not really sold any EVs at all. So they get to benefit from this. Now, if Biden comes in and he restores Tesla and GM, then I guess that advantage really goes away. So I don't necessarily know if we should talk about about it in 2021. We'll see. But as of right now, that's a big advantage for people looking at this crossover SUV segment that has a lot of competition. Surprisingly, you got Ford, you got Jaguar, you got Audi, you have Tesla, obviously, Volkswagen. With we're going to get in here in a second with the ID.4. What am I missing? I know I'm missing some that I can't think of off the top of my head, but it's just getting kind of crowded. Despite that, the Tesla continues to basically reign supreme when it comes to EV sales. So this might be the very first one, maybe, that people are excited about. I know that Ford has sold out of the reservations for the very first edition. I can't think of what the name of it is. Limited edition, which is called a limited edition version. Again, I like how it looks. Colors look pretty good. Interior looks pretty nice. Specs on paper look good. We'll see how the EPA ratings finally pan out. They were a little short. The preliminary, I think they came in at 288 versus 300. That's not bad. But I think based on the efficiency of the battery, they have a bigger battery, and getting 288 isn't great. But again, we'll see. We'll see. I think they're playing it a little safe. Next up, Volkswagen. They have ID.4, and then again, I just mentioned a second ago, another crossover SUV, official EPA rated at 250 miles. 250 miles. Maybe that's conservative. Maybe it'll go further. I don't know. $40,000 before incentives. So again, this is one where you throw in that tax credit, you shave off $7,500 on that. You're looking at a $33,000 crossover SUV. It looks decent. I've not actually really liked the look of the ID.3 or the ID.4 from Volkswagen. I've just not really enjoyed what they've been, just from a visual standpoint, what they've been putting out. They also, I want to say this came out either today or I don't know, it could have been Thanksgiving. Maybe it came out today, Black Friday. They're targeting a $25,000 battery electric vehicle. This is the same basically as Tesla. There's an interesting article, I want to say it's on Clean Technica, that came out, and they analyzed all of the German automakers. And they were talking about Volkswagen and Herbert Diess, and just their strategy in general seems to be that they want to mimic everything Tesla is doing, down to, they make an announcement, we're going to make an announcement. They're going to go for that market, we're going to go for that market. They're going to make this, they're going to focus on software, we're going to focus on software. They're going to do batteries, we're going to do batteries. And Ford's going to do batteries. And everybody's going to do batteries now after being mocked. Literally, after all of these companies mock Tesla, to see some of them going so hardcore, even Volkswagen, again, Herbert has been glowing about Tesla in recent time, the last maybe year and a half or so. On their strategy, I want to say he thinks their evaluation for stock is on point. Just again, glowing remarks regarding the company and continuing to kind of push, I think, their culture and they're from the bigwigs, the execs, to really go all in on electric vehicles. The downside is, man, they got a lot of debt and they have to turn over a lot of factories and a lot of folks that weren't traditional, focused on electric drivetrains from ICE drivetrains. That's just a lot of turnover they have to do in a really short amount of time to keep pace with what Tesla has been doing. And that's the same for all of these traditional automakers. Sure, they can do it, but it's gonna hurt that transition. So watching them is going to be interesting. Now, this is some more just Tesla in general stuff since the last time we chatted. Cybertruck is going through some redesigns. We should be getting this stuff any day now. I think Elon tweeted like they should be coming here in December. I want to say he said this earlier in the month that they're going to show off some of the redesigns that they're working on with the Cybertruck. And it says they're small minor redesigns, so we'll actually see whether or not that's the case. But it's still interesting to know that they're continuing to iterate on the Cybertruck, even though what we saw was pretty close to final. Knowing how Tesla is, Sandy Monroe has done quite a number of breakdowns, specifically around the Model Y. If you haven't seen some of those, maybe I'll link them in the description. But talks about some of the improvements that they made from the very first release to like a now, and just talking about the willingness for them to continue to iterate and improve on the product that you get, and not just being stuck with like, okay, this is the 2020 model, everybody's going to get this 2020 model. They're like, no. If we can make improvements to this, we need to make improvements to it so that when someone purchases the car, they're getting the latest updates, and they continue to iterate. So it's no surprise as the Cybertruck is getting some redesigns. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. Hopefully it's nothing drastic to the overall design of these. I hope they're, again, Elon said minor. I hope it's a lot of minor changes because I really love what I saw with that unveil last year. I think the biggest thing is Tesla was included in the S&P 500, baby. Now I'm long on Tesla. I'm invested in Tesla. I do not take anything that I say as advice toward how you should invest in your stocks. I am more of a dividend investor with some risk. Tesla is one of my risks categories. I love the company, love what they're about. And the rally after being included, I actually had a previous podcast saying they were snubbed. But I said in that video, didn't mean they couldn't be included later, which is exactly what happened. And now they're on a massive tear right now. I'm up quite a bit, as I'm sure a lot of Tesla folks are. So that stock rally is just worth mentioning. I'm not going to go too deep into the stocks today because that could be a whole podcast in and of itself. Another thing I wanted to talk about, and this is specifically for Tesla because Consumer Reports loves to just go in on them. But they rated them the like lowest on the Consumer Reports when it comes to reliability. And I got to thinking about the concept of, well, first off, who reads Consumer Reports with any, like, I think Tesla Q and a lot of Tesla folks that dislike Tesla really use this as a thing to pump up in the media. The media does it as well, but like Consumer Reports release something, Tesla's at the bottom. Never mind who else is at the bottom, but Tesla's at the bottom. So let me write all these articles about Tesla being at the bottom of Consumer Reports. So I'm kind of wondering, like, who does that affect? And I obviously I don't think it affects people that already have their mind made up that they're going to get a Tesla, or that they drove in a Tesla, or that their friend has a Tesla and they told them about the Tesla. None of that I think impacts Consumer Reports. I also don't think it really matters to younger generation. Like, I have never, not one time have I read anything regarding Consumer Reports. The only reason I saw it is because it happened to cross a blog that I read for EVs. And so it just happened to be in there. And I was like, oh, okay, another Consumer Reports thing about Tesla. But then I got to thinking about the wording, reliability versus what the real issue is. When I read, why they rated them so low is quality. Now you could say reliability to me is like, my definition of like, is a car reliable is like, will it break down on me? And I've not known any Teslas to have reliability issues when it comes to breaking down. What they tend to have is quality issues pertaining to panel gaps, again, like details to design finish, lights being loose, some of the things that aren't considered reliability problems, more like quality problems. And the reliability ends up being like, do I have to take it to the shop to get this minor issue fixed, or for them to try to fix the panel gap? It's not, this is going to break down on the road, which I think is what people associate with the word reliability. It's a quality issue, where it's like, this paint is super thin, or this paint job sucks, or this panel gap sucks, or all the panel gaps suck, which tends to be Tesla's biggest issue. So, again, I don't know who this really affects, because it doesn't seem like it does anything to Tesla sales. If anything, it just boosts people more. It reminds me of like some of the stuff around politics with like Trump or any really politician, where the media is pushed so hard against them being Tesla, that some people just kind of tune it out now and they don't care, because it seems like there's a bias against, or really just over publicizing everything about Tesla, and because it gets clicks. right? And so I just don't know what this does to people that really don't care and don't look at any of these. I mean, honestly, who looks at these? Oh, the JD Power Award, the Consumer Reports of like, I don't pay attention to any of that. This is just ridiculousness to me that continues to be a thing. It has to be over a certain age that really cares about this, and maybe some specific group of people that look at this comb over the Consumer Reports. But I'm not one of them, so I, that's just falling on deaf ears, I guess, with that one. Last thing with Tesla is an Elon Musk interview that came out 3 days ago on the 24th. It was regarding a conference, I want to say, in Europe, where he phoned in, gave an interview, and he talked about a couple things that I thought were pretty interesting. First off, Giga Berlin. They talked about the battery cell production plant, which he said is going to be, he thinks, one of the eventually one of the largest in the world. They're going to go from 100 gigawatt hours to 200 to 250 gigawatt hours eventually over time. Now, what that means is that if they hit 250 gigawatt hours, that would be more than basically everything combined in the world right now, be the number one by quite a bit today. Now, don't talk to me in like 2024 or whenever this is actually going to take place. But hearing that, it's like, oh, damn, that's going to be a lot of battery cells are going to be pumping out. And it just it reminds me that like their ambition of where they want to hit is so much further than where, you hear Ford or Volkswagen or Audi or Daimler or GM, or any of them are talking right now, is just not in comparison. So even if they fail at getting 250, but they hit 200 or 180, like none of them are talking about that. So it's like, I would rather fail and shoot for a 25 and I'm only going for 10 and I hit a 12 than, again, where a traditional auto is, they're shooting for where Tesla was in 2012. So it's like, you guys are shooting for a 2? Y'all are shooting for a 2? These fools is out here shooting for a 25. Y'all shooting for a 2? So that's the thing that really gets me when I hear this stuff. And then with that, I don't know how you say his name, Peter Altmaier. It's German. He's a federal minister of economic affairs and energy. He went on to say that Tesla is basically a significant player in the country. They're going to get a significant subsidy from the government. He wants Germany to be the leader in battery electric cell production and battery powered cars. I think this is just a big testament to what Tesla is doing in Europe and China, sort of here in the U.S. We got a lot of stubborn folks here in the U.S. with that, coal roll people and just the gas powered folks, but they're really changing the discussion. And obviously, when you look at the stock market, that's one of their biggest draws right now. I think with the media, it's like, oh my God, their stock is going crazy. And that has helped propel, I think, a lot of people into, okay, well, what is actually going on inside of Tesla? Like, well, okay, let me try to wrap my head around this. So I thought that was interesting. The other thing that they talked about was the semi-truck, which is just something that I think is going to be really big business for them. But he believes that they're going to hit 621 miles range. I found that range to be interesting because that's also the range they were basically talking about with the Roadster. And I don't know if I haven't really seen too many people talk about like, oh yeah, the Roadster is supposed to be 621. So they think they can hit that with the semi. But they talked about some of the same things, Elon talked about some of the same things he talked about on Battery Day, which was like, they're going to build the actual frame that supports the batteries into the truck. It's not going to be like packed in as something separate and stabilizing. The actual batteries are going to be part of the truck, which I think will just help with the efficiency. Once they get this battery stuff rolling out, I feel like some of the things that they're saying is actually going to be plausible. There was another article I read that was talking about the semis in Europe specifically. Again, this is a European conference where he's speaking, and most of the routes are only 800 kilometers. And again, this is 1,000 kilometers, about 621 miles, is what they're going for on the high end. He believes that they're going to hit it. But most, I think 80%, 85% of the routes that semis take are 800 kilometers or less. Or I want to say 750 kilometers or less, I think is the actual statistic they were looking at. And so I thought, oh, well, if they're able to hit that in Europe, this is going to be really popular. When you talk about here in the US, maybe. I just feel like trucking, when you're talking about cross-country trucking that occurs in the US, I don't know if that's far enough. I think that it'll do just fine. I don't know. I haven't looked at that stat here in the US on the average route miles here in the US. So I think that would be an interesting statistic to look at. And then the last thing that he mentioned was original vehicles. And much in the same way that they're doing in Shanghai, having original designers design new cars for the Chinese market, they're also going to do out of Giga Berlin, going to have German or European designers working on vehicles for that market. I think that's really smart because it plays into the built-in this country or this area model, right? Like, we hear this made in the USA now a lot more than we used to, say 10 years ago, where everything was coming from everywhere else. I think that matters to countries a lot more, having, a vehicle that was built for your market by your designers and people that you personally know or could personally know, affecting your purchasing habits. So this is a super smart strategy. I'm really excited to see how that plays out. And again, I mentioned that Volkswagen, after Tesla, Elon said this, he said it a couple times, Volkswagen was like, us too, 25,000 compact, whatever that compact EV is, we're doing that too. Just wait. They cracked me up. So that's pretty much it for the show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. There are a few other things that, I just want to mention. First off, if you have not seen some of the other stuff on the blog, I'm doing some style related things. I started it on the channel here. If you look at my very first 3-4 videos on this channel here, I was getting into some fashion stuff. Then Fortnite hit, and I had to put the channel down. But I have again started back up, and I would just want to show some of the things that I've been working on here. This is back on the blog, and this is just talks about some outfit styles for different looks. I posted this not too long ago. You're going to see some more stuff like this here over on the channel coming up very soon. And this particular outfit is one that uses Faherty brand, Buck Mason, Hyper Denim, which I love Hyper Denim, and then those are Nike Air Fear God. So you'll see some shoe stuff here. You'll see some outfit breakdowns, different clothing things, probably a couple more kick reviews here very, very soon. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So hope you guys enjoyed episode number 10. You guys will see me next time. Peace.